Is this working or is it not working? Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so very much for tuning in to my super chat. Thank you. Let's just see if this is working. And if I find out that I had to say the same thing twice, that'd be funny. Thank you so very, very much, ladies and gentlemen. If you've been with me for the past year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, you realize that I obsess over certain themes. One is how brilliant the Democratic Party is at creating a narrative, at a very interesting and conniving and deceptive and duplicitous and disingenuous type of political skullduggery. There's a very, very... Hello, Eric H526, Luke St. Martin, hello. Everybody here, hello. There's an interesting way. Democrats have a political machine. They've had a political machine since Boss Tweed and Tammany Hall. And you can fast forward to the DNC emails that showed that Bernie Sanders was cheated. The great thing, though, about the Democratic Party is that they take people who could possibly be heroic or could have been heroic figures, and they reduce them into 2020 Bernie Sanders or 2016 Bernie Sanders when he endorsed Clinton. He did not have to endorse anyone. Let's put it this way. If Bernie Sanders wanted Medicare for all, he could have joined the Green Party after endorsing Clinton in 2016 and simply said, I am going to take my voters to the Green Party and I'm going to engage in what Democrats do all the time. Political leverage. I'm going to force Democrats to pass a Medicare for all bill. If they don't pass a Medicare for all bill, I'm not coming back to the Democratic Party. And Bernie Sanders he could have single-handedly forced Democrats to adopt all the policies that Democrats do not want. People actually stood in line. People stood in line in the rain, getting pelted by hail in Wisconsin, simply to vote against Medicare for all. Hello from Texas. Hello. Hello. Hello, sir. Hello, good sir from Texas. Hello. This is really interesting, people. I'm not going to give you the person's name. She's a very, very trusted colleague of Madam Secretary's. And she had a very interesting take. Friends, I don't get this badgering I see of Morning Mika for harping or being too hard on Joe Biden. I love and respect Joe Biden, but he needed to answer every single question she put to him. It would be a disservice to all involved if she had not done so. Hats off to her. So this is a very, very, if this were Clinton and she was forced to answer any difficult question, this person would then say, my God, did you see what Morning Joe did? They're basically in the tank for Trump. Anything that Democrats stand for, they would be against if there was political utility in being against whatever it is they claim to stand for. So believe. Don't really believe when it's a Democrat, or don't believe at all. Russia. It's okay if it's Russian intelligence helped allegedly helped write the dossier that they used against Trump. So this is unbelievable how they take how much you want to bet also? How much you want to bet also that? So then you have this. I'll read you this. Okay, so I just read you that tweet. Now, the same person wrote the following. I worked with Joe Biden. Here's what to know about the frontrunner myth growing around him. Now, this is really interesting. What's the frontrunner myth growing about him? This is from the director of communications for Hillary Clinton's 2016 presidential campaign. And she wrote a book, Dear Madam President, an open letter to the women who will run the world. Margaret Thatcher is not mentioned in Gutsy Women. I wonder why. Because Margaret Thatcher is the antithesis of Clinton. A woman who led one of the great democracies in the world for years and years and years, had the most amazing debates with men and women, but mainly men in the House of Commons, never complained about any setback. Margaret Thatcher, whether you agree with her policies or you disagree with her policies, is the antithesis of Clinton. She succeeded in every way in politics. She was not only a success, she was an icon, and she was able to dominate British politics at a time when women, even in the United States, didn't dominate politics or didn't really have enormous representation. Even in the UK, when she was dominating, women didn't have as much representation as they do now. And she was known as the Iron Lady, and she never backed down from a fight, and if she had a setback or if she lost a political battle, or if she was eventually replaced as prime minister, she never said it was the Russians, it was because of this or that, it was because the media, she never complained. Go try to find a video of Margaret Thatcher complaining about a setback. Just really quickly, go try to find a video. Go try to find a statement of Margaret Thatcher blaming Russia, blaming people's biases against her. Let's see. Let's look at Margaret Thatcher. You can like her, you can agree with her policies or disagree with her policies. The point is, she was an icon and one of the most powerful, influential women in political history. She was in office, let's see. And not only, she was the leader of the opposition party. She was Conservative Party, the Tory Party. But she was leader of the opposition from 1975 to 1979. So it wasn't like she was, she married a prime minister and then she became prime minister. Or she became a part of the House of Commons or an MP, member of Parliament, or part of the House of Lords. She built her political career herself. Okay, she built her political career herself. Let's see. If you look, Sam Jage, Democratic motto, rules for thee but not for me. Hope you and your family are doing well. Keep up the good work, HA. Sam Jage. Sam, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Legend, thank you. Sam Jage, thank you as always for watching, Sam. Greatly, greatly, greatly appreciated. Greatly appreciated, Sam. I hope you're well. I hope your family's doing well, and thank you. Thank you. Sam Jage, thank you as always. Greatly appreciated. I just wanted to read you this before we get into, because I obsess over all of this, but there's a method to the madness with me, kind of. I actually listened to Margaret Thatcher and her interviews and her House of Commons debates, and I am struck by her ability to dismantle the opponent's argument and never, ever complain or obfuscate or never try to circumvent a political argument or debate by blaming a loss on everything under the sun. Clinton has, from her time in the White House, both Bill and Hillary, all they do is blame, get into trouble, then blame. They're the ones who blame everything under the sun for their problems. And it's interesting, a book of gutsy women with all these female leaders, and they leave out Margaret Thatcher. It's really interesting. But let's see here. Again, you might dislike Margaret Thatcher's policies, but here, have you ever? Let's just really quickly, just humor me for a second. This will be interesting. Before we get into the fact that Hillary Clinton's going to be nominee, and I will have made the biggest political prediction of all time. Let's just look at an old, and she was Prime Minister, Sam Jage, thank you again. She was Prime Minister, David, thank you. She was Prime Minister she was leader of the opposition party, so she worked her way up to becoming Prime Minister. It wasn't like it was handed to her or she just, rode the coattails of somebody else. She was, Prime Minister from 75 to 1990. So she was Prime Minister up until 1990. Hold on. Leader of opposition tonight. So Prime Minister from 1979 to 1990. Basically presiding over the end of the Cold War with Reagan. But let's just listen really quickly. Look at how opposite, how different Margaret Thatcher is from from AOC and Clinton, and we'll just focus on Hillary Clinton. So here, Margaret. Again, you can disagree with people are going to be like, well, her policies were horrible. It's like, well, okay. But there are people who agree with her policies. So here. So hold on one second. This is interesting. The Daily Beast has Maggie's Magic Moments. This is interesting. Okay. Oh, Lord. Okay, this is not, no, that's, okay, not House of Commons. Okay, so I want House of Commons debates. My God, can I just get, why is it so difficult? This is unbelievable. Okay, so just here, I'll put House of Commons, Margaret Thatcher, House of Commons. Okay. So here. Look at the class, the intelligence, the strength. Again, you don't have to agree with what she's saying. You could just as a human being, look how she not only debates these men, these very powerful men, but she completely dismantles their argument. She addresses their political ideology or arguments head on And she doesn't make any excuses. She doesn't make any excuses. So here, check this out. This is interesting.
I give way to the honourable gentleman.
There is no doubt that the Prime Minister has in many ways achieved substantial success. There is one statistic that I understand is not, however, challenged, and that is that over her 11 years, the gap between the richest 10% and the poorest 10% in this country has widened substantially. How can she say at the end of her chapter of British politics that she can justify many people in a constituency such as mine being relatively much poorer off, much less well housed, and much less well provided than it was in 1979? Surely she accepts that is not a record that she or any Prime Minister can be proud of.
So, again, this is not about ideology. This is not about the British politics. I'm talking about Margaret Thatcher in terms of how different she was from Hillary Clinton. Have you ever heard Madam Secretary as eloquent? Have you ever heard her communicate? Whatever Clinton's political ideology is, she voted alongside Bush, Cheney, Rumsfeld, helped them with their foreign policy, and then claims to be a progressive. It's just, who knows what Clinton stands for? She'll be the nominee again. Like I said, she'll be the nominee again. But just listen to the difference. Listen to the difference between the AOCs and Clintons of the world and Margaret Thatcher. No wonder the salty publisher didn't put Margaret Thatcher in a book of gutsy women. Or no wonder Clinton didn't. Because it would be an embarrassment to Clinton if she did. Listen to this.
Mr. Speaker, all levels of income are better off than they were in 1979. But what the honourable member is saying is that he would rather the poor were poorer, provided the rich were less rich. That way you will never create the wealth for better social services as we have. And what a policy! Yes, you would rather have the poor poorer, provided the rich were less rich. That is a Liberal policy. Yes, it came out. He didn't intend it to, but he did. I give way to the honourable gentleman.
So that just dismantled all of Rose Twitter right there. Just right there. But again, it's not about ideology or politics. Look at that was more eloquent, more passionate, more energizing than anything Clinton has ever said ever. Ever. Madam Secretary is not known for any specific policy aside from the horrendous from the failed NATO intervention or voting alongside that obliterated Libya and voting alongside Bush, Cheney, and Rumsfeld. And then using servers to specifically hide communication. That's why you use servers with top secret intelligence where you sign, according to ARS Technica, where you log on through the local cable station. Nothing inspirational. Let's listen to this.
I'm extremely grateful. The Prime Minister is aware that I detest every single one of her domestic policies and I've never had that.
And I think that the honourable gentleman knows that I have the same contempt for his socialist policies as the people of East Europe who have experienced it. I think I must have hit the right nail on the head when I pointed out that the logic of those policies are they'd rather have the poor poorer. Once they start to talk about the gap, they'd rather the gap were that. Down here.
She's going like this.
Not that. But that.
meaning she's trying to say the socialist policies would rather have a smaller gap between rich and poor, but everyone less wealthy, including the middle class, poor, and wealthy. So that's what she was trying to say. But it's interesting. Like, look at you could just hear it and you could watch it. The gravitas, the energy, the passion, the intelligence, the wit, the charm. Does Clinton have any of these qualities? Do any Democrats have any of these qualities? I want to know. I want to know. I mean, it's, I want to know. Can you hear this okay? Ladies and gentlemen, let me know. Can you hear this okay? Eric H526, let me know if you can hear it all right. You can't hear it? Really? Why is that possible? How is that possible? Okay, yes. All right. Ronald, thank you. Okay, so All right. So, okay, let's just listen to this really quickly, and then I'll read the I just find this fascinating. This is one of the reasons I obsess over this, because the Democratic Party is a machine run by two people where the average Democrat doesn't, they've now been reduced to just a quest for political power and influence. They don't really care. They don't really care about anything but getting back to taking back control of American politics. There's really no... Tell me where the greatest ideological difference is between the centrist Democrat and President Trump. Aside from they want never-ending military conflict, and aside from they think they want a more compassionate immigration policy, but look at what President Obama did. The cages were built during President Obama's tenure. Look at even Snopes is like, yeah, that's true. But listen to this.
So long as the gap is smaller, they'd rather have the poor poorer. You do not create wealth and opportunity that way. You do not create a property-owning democracy that way. To the Honourable Gentleman.
So it's so you have this I mean, I can go on forever. I love listening to Margaret Thatcher because she's so different. She's so different from the ideology of today, where the Clinton campaign again is going to go and say, oh, well, you know what? Any negative story is just unfair. And say, I'll just read you this. So the person who said, yeah, Joe and Mika, they were fair to Biden. I like Biden, but they were fair, wrote this. Okay. And this is all part of paving the way for Clinton 2020. The reason this is important is because the entire planet has been duped. I am literally the only person explaining that this is a political machine and everything is scripted. There was never a chance for Bernie Sanders this year, never a chance for Bill de Blasio. There was a better chance Bill de Blasio had than Bernie Sanders. There was never a chance for anyone but Clinton. Because what they do is they set up rules and they set up guidelines and they set up bylaws, and in the fine print, they don't have to abide by those rules because at the end of the day, pledged delegates don't have to vote, even in the first round, for the people who won primaries, meaning they don't have to vote for Biden, meaning that they won't. The DNC fraud lawsuit already came up with the DNC fraud lawsuit waged by Jared Beck, Elizabeth Beck, and Nico House, three very courageous individuals, already had DNC lawyers in court state that they don't have to abide by any primary. They could pick their nominee in smoke-filled back rooms. How millions upon millions upon millions of people believe that Biden, even today, the majority of people still believe Biden's going to be nominee. But the fact that he, quote-unquote, won the election was endorsed by Clinton, which he really wasn't, the fact that all of this is taking place, that it's not taking place in the manner that people think it is. It's a political stunt and charade. That's why when I wrote in the Huffington Post, Clinton 2020 is a reality, get ready for 8 years of Trump, thank God Trump is a great president in many ways. The beginning of peace between North and South Korea, or détente between North and South Korea that will eventually lead to peace, where President Moon Jae-in stated that Trump deserves the Nobel Peace Prize, or the end of the longest-running military conflict in American history. Trump never gets to look, Eric Holder defends Biden, tells Bill Maher it's Trump supporters fanning Tara Reade's. That's so hilarious. Look. They have no shame. They have no shame. Because they see, look, if you see the world from the vantage point of everything Trump does is worse, which is not true, but if you see the world in that manner, then there's nothing that you could do that it would be more egregious than President Trump. So you then go into this spiral of hypocrisy and duplicity and conniving political stunts and disingenuous behavior. Because your political life revolves around Trump being worse. But let's read this. I'm a little surprised. This is a former Clinton campaign official about several weeks back. I'm a little surprised that people have been surprised by the rough patch Joe Biden has hit in the past few weeks. This is before the Tara Reade allegations, or actually around that time, I think. The questions Biden has faced, from his handling of the Clarence Thomas hearings to his physical displays of affection, were entirely predictable. I imagined he himself predicted them. I think this is before Tara Reade. When I was White House communications director for President Obama, I saw him express physical affection for women and men both, and he often greeted me warmly with a hug or even a kiss on the forehead. A kiss on the forehead? That's bizarre. He's like, oh, communications director. I want to kiss you on your forehead. Thank you, communications director. It was unusual behavior for a work setting, yes, but he is someone who has endured a lot of personal... Okay, there you go. In my experience, his overly affectionate behavior was his way of putting more love and support in the world. Oh, my God. Oh, okay, it wasn't President, it was Biden, okay. This was not all women's experience, though. He clearly made some... I just want to put more love in the world. Can't you let me put more love in the world? Jimbo! Thatcher actually stood for something. Exactly. Thank you, Jimbo. Thank you. Thank you so very much as always, Jimbo. Thank you so very much as always. And to my viewers in Australia and New Zealand and throughout the world, in the UK and Canada, thank you so very much. Jimbo, I believe you're in Australia. Thank you so very much for watching. As always, and just thank you. Mr. Super Chat, first last, thank you. First last, thank you. Thank you very much. Bimbo Dickens BXN! Only D strategy, extend lockdown to force mail-in vote. Exactly. chess to win, plus hurt economy, pretend to be saviors of what they made worse. Exactly, period. People are monsters. Hard dumb exit, bro. Exactly. Bimbo Dickens BXN, you said it better than I could. Bimbo Dickens BXN, you said it better than I could. You said it better than I could. If anyone thinks for a moment that this altruism, oh, I don't know about, just, we can't really do that, it's just about, gosh, it's, there's no altruism. There's no altruism. Cole Wilson, hello. Hope all is well. Jimbo, thank you. Bimbo Dickens BXN, thank you, as always. I have watched, so Biden's like, so she's like, he kissed me on my, when I was White House Communications Director with President Obama, I saw Biden express physical affection for both men and women, and he often greeted me warmly with a hug or even a kiss on my forehead. Okay. What? In my experience, his overly affectionate behavior was his way of putting more love and support in the world. Let me put some love in the world. Would you just let me put some more love in the world? Okay, Biden. That's whatever you want. You get off of me. I've watched expectations. This is before the Tara Reid allegation, by the way. I have watched expectations rise around Biden with trepidation. A lot of Democrats have set their hopes high. Their hopes high on him. Nah, that's because of the media spin. They only voted for Biden because his name is not Bernie Sanders or Trump. They anxiously eye Bernie Sanders' strong standing as a candidate they believe to be too far left. They see a Biden candidacy as a way to recapture the white working class part. What? Why would Biden told coal miners to learn the code and win back those Obama voters who turned to Trump? Biden would win. How on earth? He yelled at an auto worker and used profanity. He wants to take away people's AM, PM 13s. President Obama called Clinton Annie Oakley in 2008. Basically saying, yeah, okay, well, you know what? A President Joe Biden, the thinking seems to go, would reduce President Donald Trump to a bad dream. No, this is a fantastic dream for me and for 63 plus million people. It's a nightmare for Democrats. It's a beautiful dream for everyone else. Now suddenly nothing about a Biden candidacy seems inevitable. Ooh, hello. Biggest political call of all time. Bimbo Dickens BXN, thank you again. Jimbo, thank you as always. First last, thank you. This is interesting. So now suddenly nothing about a Biden candidacy seems inevitable, including whether there will even be one. Wow. Why didn't I read this earlier? But it was never fair to make Biden a vessel for Democrats' hopes and anxieties. His early standing atop the polls seems like more of a reflection of many Democrats' 2016 grieving process. My God, the grieving process. Oh, my goodness, we had record low unemployment. And then now we have 30 million unemployed because the wonderful experts had projections that, thank God, didn't pan out. Oops. Sorry. Well, we were safe. Too bad we have 30 million unemployed. No one is going to be able to return America to normal. Yeah, actually, if you just allowed Trump to do so, we'll be normal. And no one, particularly they want to make this into the nightmare that they live every day. So that's why they're like, we just can't return to normal, everyone. It's safety. Like, nah, the Democratic primary had 5 million people vote during a pandemic in Wisconsin, Illinois, Florida, and Arizona. Why didn't they ask Fauci if they could have their primary with 5 million people in lines? Waiting in lines, touching the same ballots. Oh, and by the way, in the March 17th, they weren't wearing masks. So people weren't forced to wear masks in March 17th. In my experience, early frontrunners like Biden face a battle against attrition. Even if he ultimately wins the Democratic primary, by April 4th, he was supposed to be the presumptive nominee, which he's still got a chance of doing. This is hilarious. Look, when Clinton becomes nominee, everyone here, and God bless you all, you are going to realize exactly why I obsessed over all of this. Because everyone has been duped but me. There's not a person on the planet that has been saying since 2017 that Clinton would be nominee. Certainly not in all of YouTube. But let's see. Trump signs executive order meant to protect electricity system from foreign interference. Great. They just don't like Trump's personality. That's it. And they'll believe anything. And all their accusations about Trump are very vague. He never tells the truth. He supports, bigotry. What specifically did he do wrong? Did he engage in a failed NATO intervention? Tell me what Trump did that's worse than what President Obama and Clinton did with their failed NATO intervention. I want to know. And tell me what they did better than Trump pertaining to the beginning of détente and a roadmap towards peace between North and South Korea. I believe South Korea is the most important ally in terms of the most important ally and the most important ally we have from a geopolitical point of view. South Korea and then Israel. Two most important allies. But South Korea is now a lot safer because President Trump was able to begin détente between the two countries. President Moon Jae-in stated that Trump deserved the Nobel Peace Prize, and he also said he envisions an Olympic team in the future with both North Korean and South Korean athletes. That was unheard of. Even during President Obama's administration, it was unheard of. It was unheard of. Completely unheard of. People don't want to. The issue with they don't want to believe that Democrats would be megalomaniacal enough, or Clinton would be megalomaniacal or narcissistic enough to find a way to take the nomination. But she doesn't really have to take the nomination. You can read here. This is April 4th. From her former top official for her campaign. They're begging. They're begging. They're begging to pass the baton. In my experience, okay, so any early support based on that assumption that a candidate will do well is fickle. Wow, he will have to shed all these false expectations and hang around and come back to support a good candidate for 20. What's this? Even if he ultimately wins the Democratic primary, which he still has a good chance of doing, his support will likely erode, not grow. He will have to shed all of these false expectations that hang around him, and come back with support that he's earned by being a good candidate. Any early support? Wow. Admittedly, given the history of horrible things women have endured for, all of human history, except, interestingly enough, Margaret Thatcher never viewed things that way. Why is that? Why is that? Why did Margaret Thatcher not view things in that paradigm? Isn't that interesting? Why did Indira Gandhi not view things? Prime Minister of India. Why did she not view things that way? Interestingly enough, why you could look at female leaders throughout history. How is it that they were able to accomplish such profound success? But okay, admittedly, given the history of the horrible things women have endured for all of human history, nuance has surprisingly been a hard tool for men to employ in defending their actions. What? What does that even mean? But it's not impossible that the Joe Biden I know could be one to navigate these waters. Many women have come to his defense in the last few days, while appropriately respecting with concern the unease some women said they experienced. Unease. With Kavanaugh or Trump, it's not just unease, but with Biden, it's just unease. It's just unease. It's just unease. Don't you know it's just unease? There are more positions Biden will have to explain. He's been in public life for a long time. It is as foolish to count any candidate out at this point as it was foolish to believe any one candidate was an obvious savior. I can't believe I didn't read this. I can't believe this bolsters everything I've been saying for 4 years. 17, 18, 19, and now 20. Everything I wrote in the Huffington Post, Clinton 2020 is a reality, get ready for 8 years of Trump, the hundreds of articles prior to that were published, most of them were published with the editors giving me a stamp of approval. So, if anyone wants to disparage me when Clinton, of course, there'll be certain people who will want to disparage me, but it's like I think either Voltaire or Snoop Dogg said, "You diss me, you diss yourself." So, if anybody wanted to disparage me, they would also be disparaging all the editors, numerous editors, not just one in one publication, numerous editors that gave all my writing in 2016 a stamp of approval, and all my writing since then a stamp of approval. But I'm talking, they would, if people on the left wanted to diss me, they'd be dissing editors at the Huffington Post and editors who moved from the Huffington Post now to publications at the Daily Beast and other liberal publications. So it'd be very difficult to go disparage me or my writing from 2016 without inadvertently disparaging a whole lot of other people. It is going to be so amazing when Clinton eventually becomes nominee. There's no such thing as fight. Thank you, Daniel. Thank you, everyone. God bless you all, people. Have a great, great evening. And I will check out Bizarro World Goodman. Check out Bizarro World Goodman, ladies and gentlemen. And H.A. Goodman's other channel and H.A. Goodman, May, June, July, August. People, we have May, June, July, August, September, October, November. The next 7 months are going to be the most important, 7 of the most important months in U.S. history. And Hillary Clinton is going to be nominee, like I said, and I will have made the absolute biggest political call of all time. It's the H.A. Goodman prophecy. Now, I'm 100% on Clinton running. Clinton could possibly win, so I'm like, Trump's going to win, but I give him, 75 to 80% chance, which is that'll still be part of my prediction. Give me your thoughts below, everyone. Thank you. Thanks, everybody. Check out Bizarro World Goodman right now, and I'll see you tomorrow. Definitely tell your friends and subscribe to Bizarro World Goodman and H.A. Goodman's other channel, Eric H526. Thank you as always. Thank you as always, my friend. And Luke St. Martin, thank you, my friend. Thank you both. Have a great evening, everybody.